So I'd like to come back on building bridges. Building bridges can happen internally to the in the company that you're working in or in the group you're working in. It can also happen externally with stakeholders or actors in the ecosystem that you're active and your activities is in and your business is in. It could be thought of stakeholder management, but it goes much beyond than managing stakeholders and exchanging and creating a relationship with the stakeholders. It's something that is much more solid and it can also be expected happening on a two-way basis. Managing a stakeholder could be feeding information, trying to somehow manipulate or create a level of understanding on the other side so that your stakeholder is managing the situation in a way that you would like and is beneficial for you. Building bridges requires more than that. It requires that the relationship happens on two ways. So it's give and takes. It should be a balance 50-50, 40-30, 70-30, 40-60, sorry, or 70-30. But there has to be, a beneficial multi beneficial relationship for the parties. I like that very much as a person, as a manager. I've always, before I was managing companies, uh, even at the beginning of my career, and maybe it was because I chose to be in a small firm and learn a lot and influence a lot. But I always found that establishing a relationship with the people I'm working with is extremely important, and it's based on openness. It's based on trust building. I'm someone who would prefer trusting first, and I know that we hear a lot. Trust need to be earned, but if you don't trust somebody and wait for earning and that the other person and your trust, it can take a long time, and I prefer being trusting at the beginning. Of course, not stupidly trusting and everything open, but trust is preferably from my side given, and then we build on that and shape a bit the trust as the relationship goes along, and then we establish those solid bridges with solid foundation, and then we create that multi beneficial relationship. So that's how I've done it, and I tend to also enjoy doing that. Enjoy working with people. Enjoy establishing this trust level, understanding how people work, be open with them, and then it's not only about trust. It's not only about openness. It's not only about building bridges, but also it's about action. How does that materialize in the day-to-day life today and tomorrow for the business. And I've made a stupid blunder in my career is that I worked very hard for a couple of years on building bridges, establishing a lot of relationship in the group I was working with and or in, and I had that string of very strong stakeholders I could rely on, and they could rely on me. And I was building on that to promote a business plan, and which was approved. But then I was caught in that business plan and the implementation of the business plan with a lot of things that were coming in my way, positive, but they were very interesting. But it unfortunately diverted me from keeping the bridges, all the bridges that I had built in a very strong state. So some of them simply I did not care about anymore. But it was not about caring. It's simply that I did not have the time, and therefore mentally I forgot about those bridges. And when headwind came, then it was very difficult to rebuild those bridges, or almost impossible. So it created more hurdles in the long term for me by not taking care of the bridges. So the key there is to keep on um, uh, taking care of the relationship that are established, and having discipline to to keep on doing that in the long term. Now, it doesn't mean that all the bridges need to be kept. Some bridges need sometimes also to be severed, also relationship to be cut or severed, simply because the interests are not aligned anymore, or also because trust was broken, or the relationship that was at the beginning thought to be beneficial is not beneficial anymore. Does it have to be ugly? No, certainly not. In my career, I've severed some relationship, but it's not been ugly with a person. It's simply that on the business level, it made no sense whatsoever because of things had changed and situation had evolved. But it need to be done, or at least from my perspective, I always try to do it in the most ethical and positive way, so that if in the future we meet again, then the relationship remains positive. We of course know that that part of the business life was cut, or that we had to cut the relationship, but still we can still have a cocktail or a beer together, and or a meal or a phone call, and have a discussion. And why not build some other bridges in the future? Cutting a business relationship, or breaking that bridge with a person or a business partner, shouldn't be the end of the relationship. Having a discussion with a business partner in the future remains important. I find it's part of the network, but also it could be the basis for another relationship in a different context with different basis, and therefore re-establishing a stronger relationship in the future, stronger bridges in the future. What I've seen as well is that it's not for everyone building bridges. If your strategy, if your personality, if your way of doing business is about managing internal and external stakeholders, and establishing bridges with them, and creating stronger relationship, you, as a strategy at strategy level, need to also ensure that your staff, your internal stakeholders, your team are able to follow and live those bridges. You can't have a relationship with a business partner that is always put in danger because part of your staff doesn't like the way things are happening. So it's about, or are not aware of it. So it's about communication, it's about convincing, it's about making sure that it's not the two-way relationship, which is multi beneficial, is not happening between the two persons that are establishing the relationship, but also within all the teams, and that it percolates so that the team also live that positive relationship and create themselves a support and to solidify the bridges.